All right, we should be streaming, so we'll see. Actually, you know what? Let me just double check.
I still hear the sound too.
What sound?
That buzzing that was happening last time.
Okay. I know what it is.
I don't know what to do about my hair.
I like it. This is the longest I've ever seen it.
I think I'll grow it all the way down to my shoulders.
Oh, is it gone? Yeah, I don't hear it anymore. Do you hear it, Sam?
No.
That damn thing. Oh, well. Okay. It just makes it harder for me to maneuver the computer because I can't use the mouse.
Perfect.
That's okay. Okay. Actually... If you're out there on YouTube, hi, we're House Meeting Podcast, and this is our first time, well, it's actually our second time technically, but hopefully it's our first time sounding decent on YouTube. We're just going to get started here in just a few minutes. The way that YouTube kind of works for us is that we will do this live, but then we put out the podcast as a podcast. So when you listen live, you might hear a little bit of extra fun things, some behind the scenes stuff of the podcast because we're getting ready. But we like to give you a little snippet of real life. Okay, that is very small. I hope I'll be able to read it when we go. So I should just put it here, huh? That'd probably be a lot better, actually. Hang on. Un momento.
Trying to find my...
Oops. Okay, I think we are almost ready. Ellen, you're keeping the draft like up to date, right?
Yeah.
I didn't have to do anything with that?
No.
Cool.
Pretty easy one this week.
Yeah, Sam's killing it. Okay. I am ready. Are you guys?
Yes.
Okay. Let me get my song up and running. Let's hit record. Check, check, check. Can you guys each do a quick check?
Check, check, check.
Check 1, 2.
Cool. These are a little low. I'm going to turn you up a little bit. And let's do this. Everyone, welcome to House Meeting Podcast. This is a podcast about Big Brother, which is finally getting into action. I am Taryn Petros, and here with me today is Ellen Neustadt and Sam Miller. You can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google Podcasts. If there's somewhere else that you want us to be, just let us know. We can get on there. You can also find us on all the social networks, blah, blah, blah. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you have feedback for the show or you just want to chat with any of us, housemeetingpodcast@gmail.com is where you can reach us, or we have a contact sheet on our website at housemeetingpod.com. Now, here's the new and exciting news, you guys. We are on Patreon now. Now, I haven't set up the tiers yet. So if you want to just be at the ground level and you're such a fan of this show that you just want to give us money because running a podcast is not free, get on there and just throw us whatever you want to donate to us. That would be awesome. We will always appreciate any support you can give because this thing's not free. It's very time consuming, but we still love it. And we love you. And we hope that you can support us in any way that you can. In the next week or so, you guys, I'm hoping to get some tiers up there. I think we need to chat about what might be cool tiers. Maybe we do some bonus episodes or something like that. Maybe we can find some interviews. Might be cool. We'll see what happens, but it's up. So if anybody wants to donate now and not get anything for it except this really cool show, go do it. It's patreon.com/housemeeting. So you guys, it's the first week of Big Brother is in the can. We did it.
Oh my God. I'm so excited to hear what Sam
Yeah, it was a big one.
about this.
It was a full week. It was, I don't know if I would say a lot happened, but it was a full week.
Right off the bat, there was no announcer last week, right?
No.
Because I was like shocked when I heard his voice say previously on Big Brother.
Oh,
It's intense.
Yes. And it's been the same. I think it's been the same forever. I think it's been the same guy for all seasons. I mean, maybe season 1 or something didn't have it, but as long as I can remember, it's been that guy previously on Big Brother.
yeah. I forgot about how intense that sounds because it's just so normal to me now. That's a good point, Sam.
For an outsider, it's shocking.
Yeah, I bet. So let's start with this. Okay, this was like, it felt like a year and a half ago, but Sunday's episode.
Wow. Yeah.
So that was the first episode after the first move-in special. So that's when so Cody was HOH, right?
Mhm.
And in that episode, he did not know who he was going to nominate. Everybody was getting along because they'd literally been in the house for like 2 days. So there's no enemies yet unless there's like previous stuff. But so that was that's kind of what was going on Sunday, just to jog everyone's memory. And
Yeah, and his strategy was like, I'm going to sit in this room and let people come to me.
That's what happens a lot,
Okay.
but not everybody. I guess kind of everybody does that.
I mean, honestly, I think the only person that didn't really do that was Keisha. So we'll get to that later, but
I was like, is he secretly an introvert and he's passing this off as strategy?
No, it's kind of, there's a lot of unwritten rules of the game, and they've changed as the seasons have gone on, but definitely as the game is now, it's an unwritten rule that you have to go up and talk to the HOH, and you have to kind of pretend like you're best friends. And then later on in the week, when the HOH has decided what they want to happen, you have to vote with the HOH and you have to vote with the house. We'll get there, I'm sure, in this conversation, but it's kind of weird, unwritten rules.
Yeah, and that is definitely one of them. And it's interesting that you point that out as being like an odd thing, because to me that's just so obvious after watching it. But yeah, it is kind of weird because it's almost like, oh, go talk to the king. The king is here. But you know. And
yeah, you're pleading your case before there's even been like one competition.
Yeah, but it also then sort of makes sense because he's deciding the fate of 2 people, and how, if you've only been in this house with 16 people for 2 days, how is he going to know who, like, how is he going to figure out where his head is at unless he talks to everyone? And what's the easiest way is to just open that door.
Yeah. And in some seasons, what happens is usually the first HOH is like they have to hold on to something for a while. It's a different game. And usually it's the same game every season where they have to like hold on to a hot dog or hold on to something that's slippery. And like the last one to fall is HOH. And so a lot of times what they do is they put up if they don't know what else to go off of, they'll put up the first 2 people that drop and just use that as something so that it doesn't look like they're targeting anyone, and then they don't have blood on their hands, as they like to say. So
yeah, and this time he really had nothing to go off of.
Nothing.
Well, and also I think usually the first HOH, they've already been in the house for a few days. Like they've already kind of gotten to know each other. This was like a whole different thing because they literally moved in, did HOH, and now they're living together.
And sometimes there's already drama, but because these are all stars, they're smarter than that.
Yeah.
So they're kind of not going there yet. So
yeah.
I did love though Nicole coming in and just like professing about how much she owes Davon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then as soon as she leaves the room, Davon's like, I don't trust that at 1 second.
I love that so much.
That's a very good point. And also like, I just have to think that she did that for cameras only.
Oh yeah.
Like because it was like 2 years ago. Like you're telling me you haven't thanked her yet? Like,
Yeah, and she's acting like she wants to work with Davon, but we now know later in the week that she clearly does not want to work
Yeah.
with
Oh,
Davon.
it was.
yeah,
So, it was not.
they call her Rat Cole instead of Nicole, and they call her a snake. And I think this is why, because she does weird stuff like this, but she also won the game. So
Yeah. True.
Also on Sunday's episode, we learned all about the safety suite twist.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. And I usually am not a fan of these twists, but this one was pretty cool. So
it
basically,
was cool because because Janelle and Kaysar were safe.
yeah, but let's talk about what it was. So like it was they had 1 hour to so every house guest got a VIP lanyard with a VIP pass on it, and they have 1 hour to decide if they want to swipe their VIP pass to do a competition to be safe. Now, every single one of them could have done it except for Cody, I guess. And then they all would have competed, and one of them would have been safe, and then they get to choose one other person to also be safe. What's interesting about this for me is that what if only one person swipes?
I think they don't play the game and they just
win? That's so odd. It seems like
but wow, I guess that isn't what it is, because why would Janelle have swiped last minute with Kaysar?
I think that she swiped last minute. Well, I don't know. That was kind of what made me think that is like why swipe also, unless she was worried that somebody else, like after they saw Kaysar, that they were going to go swipe, and then she wanted to make. I don't know. It was an interesting move. Also, I thought it was very interesting that they literally waited till 30 seconds left to go swipe. So they waited to see what everybody else was going to do, and everybody, I guess, was waiting, and then they went and did it. Now this, if I remember correctly, threw Cody off a little bit. Like it kind of made him wonder, like, why did you guys not feel safe? When at the same time, I don't think that they were safe. So
they were perfectly right to do that, which was that was the most thrilling part about it. Was like watching Cody's plan come apart.
Totally.
Well, and this is the first, we'll get to the other ones, but this is the first of, I think, 3 different times that someone went up and talked to Cody this week and then was like, am I good? Like they're just looking for an honest answer. And Cody's like, yeah. And so then Janelle leaves and she's like, okay, I definitely know that I'm not safe this week.
Yeah.
And it was just obvious. And then he's like upset and surprised that she's using it. And it's like, she just went up and did the old school player thing of just being like, all right, I figure I'm going up. Am I? Should I play the game? And he's like,
Yeah.
It's weird.
It's definitely weird. It's an interesting season so far. I really like it because people like Janelle and Kaysar are throwing things off a little bit, and I really like that. Another thing I wanted to talk about Sunday's episode, and Ellen and I kind of discussed it a little bit on the live feed part, but Nicole crying already. I mean, girl, it's been 2 days. What you doing?
She's been sad. I don't really know what it's about.
I don't either. I don't really fully get it.
I feel like she might wish that she was the queen of Big Brother when it's very clear, I'm sure even to Sam at this point, that Janelle is the queen of Big Brother.
Yeah. It's either Janelle or Davon. They're both kind of like
it's not
it's not Nicole. And I think she's feeling very insecure about her win. Because, she did get a lot of flack for it. She honestly did not deserve it. Paul deserved that win far more than she did. I don't care if you hate Paul. A lot of people do. He deserved that win over Nicole, but that's neither
definitely
here nor
did.
there.
I love Paul.
So do I. I really like him. I actually went to his the Mystic place that he owns or
what
frequents.
Excuse?
Can you explain?
It's a store that has. It's a store in LA that has like all kinds of mystic weird stuff. Is it
House of Intuition?
No, it has mystic in the title, and it has like a lot of like magic kind of stuff and like candles and bones and like just it's like creepy stuff. It's really it's a pretty cool store. But yeah, I went there and I would have never known about it, but I went there kind of hoping that Paul was going to walk in.
Yeah, that would be so cool.
It's like a mystic museum, I think, because in the back you can pay to go in the back and there's a museum, but then there's also this big shop.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat. Anyway,
That's cool.
yeah, I was a nerd that day and did that. So
Just that day.
just that day, never again. And so on Sunday's episode, we found out that the nominations eventually came out to be Keisha and Kevin. So what do you guys think of the nominations?
I mean, I don't know. I guess I'm a little disappointed that the week didn't go in a more exciting route.
Oh my God, you guys, I forgot to push record.
Oh,
I hate myself.
this is going to be a faster episode.
I think I can pull it. I think I can pull it from
the YouTube.
If YouTube's working properly. Let me just check real quick. Oh my.
Yeah, you should check what the sound, what it sounds like and stuff. Oh my God.
Oh my God. I was like, why is that blinking? Oh.
While you're checking that, I'll be right back.
I can't believe that. Well, at least it has 0 views, so no one knows what we're doing right now. Oh my God. It makes me so mad. All right, let's just see how it sounds. Can't hear it at all. Why? We love you, and we hope that you can support us in any way that you can. In the next week or so, you guys, I'm hoping enemies yet, unless how is he going to figure out where?
I love that so much.
That's a very good point, and also like it's okay. It's okay. Let's just keep going. Yeah, let's just keep going. I'll start recording. Sorry, guys. Wow. What a mistake. Okay. Hey, guys, we're recording now, so that's cool. Okay. I listened to the YouTube. I think we can use it. It's not amazing, but it'll work. Okay. So, okay, let's just go back a little bit. So, you guys, the noms ended up being Keisha and Kevin. What did you guys think about the nominations?
Honestly, I wish that it maybe was a more exciting week, so many seasons, someone I love goes home the first week.
Yeah.
And so I was actually just a little bit relieved when I heard Keisha and Kevin. Because I honestly thought Cody would have a bigger move than that, even though his first choices were safe.
Yeah.
I don't want to like jump ahead, but like Kevin just had a full downward trajectory for me over these 3 episodes.
Oh my gosh.
Like I had some sympathy for him at in this moment. I appreciated him opening up to Cody, but it did feel only prompted by him wanting to be safe.
Yeah.
It didn't work out either.
And that's the thing about Kevin campaigning for himself, even before he was nominated and immediately after he was nominated and throughout the week. It's always just, I'm coming in to do this. I'm coming in to tell you this. And it's never like, so like, what's your brother like? How many siblings do you have? Like hanging out, or what movies do you like? And then just like, yeah, I really think that we could work together. I feel like that kind of gameplay where you work it into regular conversation works better, because then the person's not just like, okay, this is just you coming in and telling me the obvious.
Right.
He also always prefaces it with like, I'm so sorry I'm about to do this to you. And
it's the most dramatic
thing from you. And it's like, well, now they're going to think it's bad.
Right.
Like his general demeanor is just sad. Oh, I'm so sad. Feel bad for me. And it's like, if you were just a little bit more confident, actually, people would want to work with you. But nobody wants to work with you because you seem sad and weak.
100%. Like I ended up, so let's just move on to Wednesday's episode where Kevin was campaigning and all of this stuff happened. He was so hard to watch. And even so they did the veto competition, which I personally thought was pretty cool. It was called Peloton. So a take on Peloton, and they rode bananas, which, gosh, I mean, you got to love CBS sometimes. I mean, it's just the jokes write themselves. And so the players were Kevin, Keisha, Cody, Tyler, and Enzo. And Enzo was Kevin's house guest choice, which I thought was interesting.
Really interesting.
So when they were playing, so the game was like just this thing where they had to ride the banana to a certain point, and then they had 90 seconds to try and stack this fruit up as with as many fruits as they can without falling, and then they could push the button and that locks in how many fruits they have. And or they could keep going, but you could only lock in once, right? And they had 30 minutes as total to do all of this. So Kevin was doing really well.
Yeah.
But
he could have won that if he had
so
pressed
easily.
that button 1 second sooner.
If he had not overthought it, if you guys remember, he overthought it not once but twice, where he was like,
oh yeah,
and he ruined it for himself twice. And I thought about this, and I was like, okay, so he overthought that, just like he overthinks, I think, every single word that he says.
Yeah.
And everything he does, and that's why he comes across as so dramatic. And it's like, dude, get out of your brain and just play this game.
I know. I actually it's painful to watch him.
It is.
And I don't mean to be, he's severely lacking in confidence.
Yeah.
And if he just had confidence, he would probably be the fun character that I bet CVS expected him to be.
Yeah.
And he's just kind of turning out disappointing because he's so insecure or something.
It is very hard to watch. I think painful was definitely the right word. It's so hard. Also, Keisha was very close to winning as well.
Keisha did really well too.
I'm surprised that she wasn't more upset. She was just kind of like, okay,
whatever.
which was sort of her personality.
The rest of the video.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like Kevin, while his campaigning was highly irritating, at least he tried.
Yeah, he was doing something.
Didn't campaign at all. She like went out of her way to not campaign. So then you're just this like person in the house. And I'm sure she was very nice. Everyone said she was very sweet. Everybody says she was very sweet on her season, which I just don't really remember her. But you have to
Tyler's name.
Oh, that was amazing. Yeah. Taylor.
There was lots of name forgetting. People, I mean, this was on the feeds throughout last week. It's not any spoilers or anything, but people were, Cody kept calling David Kevin.
Oh, yeah.
I actually did at one point when talking to my husband, too. I was like, Kevin, wait, what? No, David. Yeah, and then there was one other one. I can't remember what it was, but people could not remember anybody's name.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. They've only been there for 8 days or 9 days as of yesterday or something. So, I mean, 16 people, I guess it's hard. But also, you probably already know these people. But Keisha doesn't. Because Keisha doesn't watch it.
Keisha doesn't watch Big Brother, so
she's kind of an anomaly. Like, I'm so surprised that they asked her to be on, and I'm sure they were kind of like, when she went home, they were like, "Okay, that's fine."
I read somewhere that Julie Chen loves Keisha and has been a big fan of her for a while.
You could
and that might be why.
Well, I don't want to jump ahead, but you could tell. I think. So Wednesday night's episode, a couple other things that went down that I kind of wanted to talk about. So Ian's being on the Spectrum talk.
Yeah.
That was like very heartwarming, I felt. And also, I think eye-opening for a lot of the house guests. I think it was like important for just the public to hear that. Like it's not his identity. It's just a part of him. And I thought that was a really cool thing for him to really stand by and do. So I just wanted to bring that up because I thought that was really cool. And on the feeds, Ellen and I kind of talked about it a little bit, but Kesar had a separate conversation. They didn't put this on the regular show, but had a separate conversation with Ian about it. And I thought it was really nice because it's very clear that Ian's having a tough time.
Yeah.
Sam even pointed that out on the last episode. Every time he talks, he's kind of like, kind of swaying back and forth. And, but he's hanging in there. He's doing okay, and he's talking about it, and I think that's the best thing you can do in that situation. Plus, he won the game, so he knows how to do this. This is great for him. His hardest part, I think, is the social part, but he's doing a really good job, and he's kind of game for stuff.
I think he's doing a really good job in the game too. Like, I think that as much as I don't like Nicole that much, I think that he is smart to. I can't remember if this was this episode or the eviction episode, but he was smart to align with her because because they are both winners, and I think he was right when he said that they have a better chance of winning in the final two with both of them do if they're next to one another, because if it's Ian against, let's say, Janelle or whoever, somebody that hasn't won, people are like, well, they deserve to win because they've never won.
Yeah,
And it
absolutely.
gives them that edge. And so I think being next to each other, it gives either of them somehow a better chance.
100%. And honestly, if I were in the house, I would be wanting to take either of them to the final two, because all you have to say is like, dude, they already won.
They already won. Yeah.
They like, I should win this time. Like, it's interesting that not more people in the house have like thought about that or are going that route. But
yeah. Well, and he's being really quiet about like, I'm not going to mention that I'm a winner. I'm really going to lay low on that end. And I think that's a smart move. He's just not really talking about that much.
Yeah.
And it's kind of making people forget a little bit. It's so
totally
funny how it works. It's such a study, because we're seeing all these weeks in these condensed formats, but really this is a whole week long for them in their life, and they're not thinking about it because it hasn't come up. It's really interesting.
Yeah, totally agree. And then there was another interesting conversation where Kaysar was talking about, he didn't say it explicitly, but he was talking about the Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah.
And he was talking to Da'Vonne and Nicole A. And I thought I was actually very impressed with CBS for airing that.
Mm-hmm.
And also, I thought it was wonderful that they were having that conversation, and he teared up, and I felt like it was very genuine. I think that it was just a really nice conversation to air on the regular program.
Yeah. Yeah. I think I was actually kind of surprised that they aired that. I had heard about that happening on the feeds, but I was actually a little surprised.
Yeah.
That's good. Yeah. Also, they didn't really have a choice in whether or not they aired this, but in the live eviction episode, Da'Vonne shouted out, she said, "Justice for Breonna Taylor," just really fast.
Yeah, that was fantastic. I retweeted that on Twitter. I thought that was amazing. She's great. She's fantastic. So one thing we kind of talked about this earlier, and I just wanted to discuss it. This is something that came up on the feeds, but it's not a spoiler or anything. But Janelle asked Bailey, they were just chatting, and she was like, why do people do what the HOH wants? He has no power anymore. He can't play next week. Why do people play the game like this now? Because when Janelle played the game, that's not how it worked.
Yeah.
It's like, you had your power. Now it's my turn. But now everybody does whatever the HOH wants to not get them upset or to not put more blood on their hands. So they don't use the veto because, we wouldn't want to upset the HOH, but they don't have any power. So I wanted to just talk about that, because I think that Janelle brings up a really good point about why the show used to be much better.
Yeah, I agree. And I was a little surprised that they didn't go against it, but also a little bit relieved that her and Kaysar voted with the House in the end, because they already have kind of a target on them.
Yeah.
But that being said, it is more fun when people just vote individually.
Well, I don't even know if it's about, I guess it is about voting, but it's just every decision they make about the veto, because we're still kind of on the veto episode. Like everything, like Enzo said that he didn't use it because he didn't want Cody to have to get more blood on his hands. And it's like,
that truly did not, I wrote that in my notes, that it just made no sense for him not to use, because they don't get it. It's like he puts it away and it's done forever. He never gets to come back, use that veto again.
Right. Well,
so that's
for that week.
I don't see why you would win a competition. Don't even try then.
Well, what happens is if he were to use it, like either Kevin or Keisha would come down and someone else would go up.
Right.
So on his own, unrelated to Cody, that could get blood on Enzo's hands too, because it's putting the rest of the house in danger. So he has to kind of gauge whether or not he has a better relationship with whoever he thinks would go up as a replacement nominee, or with Keisha or Kevin.
Right.
So I think usually people only use the veto if they have like a straight reason to. Otherwise, what the veto does for you is keep you individually safe, and you can use it as a tool to keep the noms the same if you like the noms.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I kind of didn't expect him to do anything else, even if he wasn't tied with Cody. just this first week because it's kind of like who are either of these two people? Maybe one of them should go home kind of week. But
yeah, we're not quite in backdooring territory yet.
Yeah.
But even when you get there, like last season, there were so many opportunities to backdoor people, and then they just did what the HOH wanted. And I think that's kind of what Janelle's referring to. And it makes for boring play, you know?
Yeah. You know what I also miss, and I hope that there will be some of this, is what do they call it? A rogue vote?
Yeah.
Or someone, like a secret rogue vote. Sometimes, Sam, everybody in the house votes one way, and then somebody just for the hell of it will go in and be like, I vote Kevin out. And then they'll be, all Julie tells them is that there was one vote for Kevin to leave, and everybody flips out.
Well, that's brilliant. I mean, that stirs so much chaos, and you being the only one who truly knows can push that guilt any way you want. I hope that happens.
I hope so too. I wonder, who do you guys think would be the rogue vote?
Ian,
that's what I thought too.
I think definitely fun. Ian.
I would love to see that.
All right, since we're already going in that direction, Ellen, I think that it's time to talk about the most recent episode, which was the eviction episode last night. It was live. Julie Chen was there, so let's just go ahead and get into the Julie Chen outfit review. Julie Chen Moonves, I'm sorry.
All right, so last night, Julie Chen was wearing an Easter Sunday ruffle dress with a black shoulder bow, another shoulder bow, 2 weeks in a row. She was wearing clear stilettos with a black heel. She was wearing some silver dangly earrings that look like the wind emoji. I replayed
like the fart
episode, like the wind.
Oh yes, okay.
Or like a fart. Is that what you said? I thought you said fart.
No,
exactly.
like a fart.
Like some call it the wind, others refer to it as the fart emoji. If you look closely, because I was like, what are these earrings? And I waited for the part where she was doing the interview and you could see them better. They are like the fart emoji, but glittery. Some silver glitter bracelets, a silver pointer finger ring that was also glittery, some black layer bracelets, and then I liked her hair and her makeup.
I didn't honestly notice her hair or makeup. I'm just going to point that out.
That's why I liked it, because there was so much going on that I was like, I had to go back. I did not take any notes on her hair and makeup. When I went back, I was like, I should probably look at what her hair and makeup looked like. And then she was, in fact, wearing those two crosses again.
Okay.
So, just as an update. What I have to say about this Easter Sunday dress is that it has... Okay, let me go back, actually. I have to apologize for last week, because given what she was wearing this week, I should change my review of last week.
Okay.
While I think that both this week and last week's episodes have been very demure, I just very like... ho-hum 650s housewife or something. I couldn't believe what I was seeing this
I told my husband when we were watching it, I was like, it looks like she got it off the sale rack at Target.
It really does. And you know what it also looks like? It looks like she's breaded and deep fried. There are so many ruffles. She looks like she's a Popeye's chicken strip.
Yeah.
To me, the pattern I would call like expired Jawbreaker. Like it looks like a Jawbreaker that got lost in your cabinet for 30 years.
Yes.
Now it's a little brown, but still like a speckled, array.
And the ruffles, they come to like a crescendo on the widest part of her hips. It was just truly an abomination. It was horrible.
Shocking.
Yeah, it was shocking.
There was nothing redeemable about it, to be quite honest. Like, I was looking at it, and every time I saw her, I was like, first of all, like, now I'm more curious than ever how these things get picked out. Who has the final say? And, like, are they playing a trick on her?
They might be. She looked terrible.
So bad. And it honestly looked like it was 1992.
Yeah, it was like dated, but not like retro.
Right, exactly.
It was like not quite dated enough to where it was just like, oh, did you wear this in season 5?
Right. Like it almost had like a bohemian vibe, but then it wasn't, because then it also looked like a grandma.
Yeah.
Like it didn't quite get to any perfect level. It was so bad.
It was really, really bad. I was actually very excited though, because that's part of why I was so disappointed last week. Is it's always bold. It's almost always bold. But last week was not bold. For like the first time in a long time, I saw Julie Chen. I wasn't shocked by I'm usually shocked by either how good she looks, because normally she's wearing ridiculous clothes, or I'm shocked by how it's even more awful than I thought it could be.
Yeah.
And last week was just kind of bland. And this week really, she proved me.
She knew what her audience wanted and she delivered.
So yeah. So Ellen,
very like Target 2005 ad.
Oh, 100%. So terrible. Ellen, how many ruffles is she getting this week?
Julie Chen is getting 1/2 of a hip ruffle.
Okay. Half of a hip ruffle. I think I concur with that. I mean,
I think it was pretty bad.
That's actually pretty generous, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
For some reason, I feel like the scale should go the other way. That's the more extreme. Because, like, is this not the essence of Julie?
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, it's.
I don't want to reward her for going away from her truth.
That's a fun one. All right, so eviction episode, you guys. There's a few things that happened on here that before the eviction happened that I kind of wanted to talk about. One was the talk between Bailey and Tyler.
I didn't know they had this dramatic past.
So here's what happened. In case Sam doesn't know, or anyone out there doesn't know, we told you about the fight that happened in the house during a house meeting. So I believe Bailey called the house meeting to call out Tyler for lying about something. She was actually mistaken. Tyler hadn't lied, but she called this huge house meeting, and then he wouldn't apologize because he didn't do the thing. He didn't lie. He didn't do the thing she was accusing him of. And she went basically ballistic, and her mouth started bleeding.
She was screaming so hard her mouth started bleeding.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. So later we found out she was actually pregnant during this whole thing. She had a miscarriage. And after she was off of the show and kind of the miscarriage and all of that kind of came out, she actually went to the press, like not like real press, but like some like blog, and told them that Tyler caused her miscarriage.
Oh my God.
I didn't know that she said that. That's crazy.
It's insane. That's not how that works. If she had a miscarriage based on stress, it's not because Tyler caused it.
That whole situation is very stressful.
Exactly.
Like just that one thing.
And also, like, miscarriages happen for, especially that early on, they happen for 100 gazillion reasons. They are not generally caused by anything more than just a genetic mutation. So let's just clear that up. So given that,
I'm happy she's on my team though. My draft. Don't care.
Yeah.
That's my kind of strategy.
Yeah. So given that knowledge, she went to Tyler basically, or I don't know who went to who, but her and Tyler were having a talk about their season and sort of clearing the air. Tyler apologized, which I thought was far beyond what he needed to do. And she goes, She just side smiles. And I forget the word she said. She was like, "Kay," or something like that. It was the most ingenuine acceptance of an apology that wasn't even deserved. I remembered immediately why I cannot stand Bailey. I hate this woman. And people on Twitter think that she can do no wrong. And I am sorry, but she is a bad person. She is horrible. And I'm actually disappointed that her and Da'Vonne are in an alliance now together, because I think Da'Vonne is a much better person than that.
Da'Vonne's a much better person than her. That didn't make me hate her that much.
No, it didn't make me. It reminded me why I hated her. I hated her on her original season, and then that whole interaction with Tyler, I was like, oh yeah, that's right. I was about to start liking her, and I was like, there you go. That's why I don't.
There it is.
Having gone into that conversation, not having literally any of that information that you just filled in, both like what the fight actually was about and then like the stuff that happened outside. It just seemed like she was waiting for like a massive apology, and like I could see her like to me, even though I don't think it was a mind game, I guess is what I was saying with Tyler, because she definitely still believed she was like owed something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's a good point.
That's like the vibe I could get at the end of that conversation. But very interesting to know all of this and all of this stuff now.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know.
Another person that I remembered why I hate them so much is I didn't really forget, but was Nicole Frenzel when she was talking to Ian and then goes in the diary room and says, well, the final two's not really real. That was painful to watch because I really like Ian.
Same. But yeah, I even think she lies in the diary room, to be quite honest with you. Like,
yeah, probably.
I feel like I have absolutely no idea what she's thinking, because if she's thinking that she shouldn't take Ian over Cody, she's really stupid.
She's really stupid, yeah.
And
there's like a weird like performativity that goes on, I've noticed, with like, I mean, that moment for one, but then like also like way back in the second episode, Cody, after he has that conversation with Kevin, he like comes back into his room and he's all like sad and he's like, oh, I don't know what to do. And he's like, so he's playing that just for the audience. He doesn't need to say that out loud.
Yeah.
And like, I do think he is maybe conflicted because he was, you know, somewhat touched by that conversation with Kevin. But like, it is funny how much people are playing a like public game that doesn't even involve their teammates as well.
Yeah.
It is just them trying to look like a good person, so people, I'm guessing, don't like eviscerate them online.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Well, and also sometimes there are random powers that America votes on.
Ooh.
And so you kind of want to be on their good side. You want to look like a really great person, because if that power happens, you know that it's not going to go to you if you look like a jerk.
Well, too bad, Cody. Didn't work. I don't like you already.
Yeah. Okay. So then Memphis sort of talked about his alliance that he's creating with Cody, and their plan, from what I understood, was to have this alliance but never talk directly in a group to each other, to basically play telephone. Now, do you guys think this is gonna work?
No,
because somebody's gonna say something to someone else and say this is their plan, and then once it gets to the second group, they're gonna be like, well, do you really think we should do that? You know, just like telephone. That's the literal definition of the game telephone, is that by the time it gets to the end, it's communicated. It doesn't make any sense. I cannot believe that he is even using that analogy.
I was shocked he wasn't caught immediately going to all of them back to back like that to set up this alliance.
Because he told everybody, well, you're the first person I'm talking to. And that's eventually going to get back to him. Everything that you say is going to get back to you.
Yeah, it was, I just see that. How could you ever trust somebody if you're getting fourth hand information about your own alliance that you've never actually, I'm sorry, but
it's ridiculous.
It's an interesting concept. There's no way that can work, I don't think.
You could also like already see it fraying with the fact that it was like mixing with that other 4-person group in a way that felt totally incompatible and is set up for like a massive explosion at some point.
Yeah.
Also, I don't think that anybody involved is taking it seriously except for Memphis. And so that's what made it, I know we'll get to this, but that's what made the HOH outcome even more. It made it funny, actually, because it's like, oh great, now this week everybody has to pretend that the alliance is real.
Yeah. So let's just kind of get to that. So okay, bye Keisha. Keisha was gone. She was voted out 13-0, which is never good.
Kevin's face when did you see his face?
And that pissed me off, because why is he so dramatic? Of course he knew already. You weren't that shocked. You were jaw dropped. You were actually no. He's overacting. He's overacting in everything he does.
Overacting, can we talk for a second about Keisha's goodbye, or not goodbye, her speech?
Yes.
A lot of times people during this moment give these like big, really intense speeches, and I think she was trying to be really cool and it didn't work.
I think it spoke to exactly why she didn't fit in the house.
Yeah, she like stumbled through it and then was just like,
and then like
except for
threatened
a
people
couple of
at the
people.
end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was very
But
weird.
it wasn't cool. People have threatened in their final speeches, and it's been like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
But that was not an example of it.
No, that was it. It was very strange. So then after Keisha left, they did the HOH comp, and Memphis won. So
happy for my team, but I hate
Yeah.
this guy so much. He's like
Yeah.
a dad you're stuck talking to at a barbecue, who wants to talk to you about everything they like, mob movies.
Yeah.
And he calls his backyard gang the Commission.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. Jake and I, my husband and I screamed at the TV. No!
Yeah. Well, and I was very disappointed because I also got that question right.
Yeah,
the
me
one that
too.
he got right, and everybody said false, and he said true, and I was like,
No.
oh no, I hope I'm wrong.
Yeah, me too. The
And
same
then
thing
it was-
happened to me.
Memphis.
Was I supposed to know who that was in the video? Was that supposed to make sense to me?
No.
So that guy, what? That guy is a recurring character on Big
But
Brother.
Sam wouldn't know that. I mean,
Oh no, I was just saying, so that guy is a recurring guy on Big Brother, and he often will come in and be different characters. So like sometimes they're like, we've released an alien into the house, and then he comes in, and usually what he does is he bugs the people in the house. So he's the only one that's allowed to come into the house besides the house guests, and he'll come in and annoy them, and sometimes somebody will get a punishment from a competition, and he'll come in. Like one time I think he was like a grandma, and he came in and he was just like judging a house guest and just being like, you shouldn't be using that, you should be cleaning your mug better, and just like using, I don't know, being ridiculous. And they use him to annoy people. And then in this instance, since he can't go in the house, they used him as
I wonder if he's like a producer, like on the crew, and maybe that's
Yeah.
why
he's
shows
been
up.
there, he's been on the show forever.
yeah, big sweaty guy. I don't
Yeah.
know. It's funny. So who do you think he's going to nominate?
I think that he's gonna go after Davon and Bailey.
Yeah.
I could see that.
I think given the last couple seasons and the Black Lives Matter movement, I think it would be a bad move for him personally to put up two black women. I don't think so either, but I don't think he's going to nominate both of them because I think Cody or somebody's going to be like, dude, like,
Yeah.
very carefully be like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, because that happened last season and it happened in Bailey's season, and there was a lot of backlash about it. And I don't think these people are actually racist by doing it. I think that they're trying to play the game normal, but also we're kind of in this weird sort of political state right now where it'll look bad. It'll look bad for the older white man to put up two black women. So I don't really think he's going to do that. I think somebody's going to talk him out of that. That's my prediction.
Yeah, you'd hope so, but I think, I don't know that he'll nominate them, but I think they're the two he'll be going after.
Okay.
At the very least.
Yeah. It's going to be an interesting week. I don't know.
Because the obvious would be Janelle and Kaser, but if it were anybody other than Memphis. But Memphis has a little bit of an advantage with them, considering he's kind of an older player and they are too. I think they have a little bit of a bond in that way. So he doesn't really have why would you nominate them just because of that? I don't know.
So people would gun for Kaser now and Janelle.
Oh yeah. Because they're kind of like they're like a power
target.
They're like a power couple.
Okay. Oh, gotcha.
I think it's pretty obvious they're working together, and so you don't want them both in the game.
Got it.
I think.
I wore my NASA shirt just for Kaser because I like him a lot after these episodes.
Yeah.
I'm rooting for him big time.
Same.
I love Kaser. And I think too, like, they are kind of Big Brother legends, and I think that intimidates a lot of the people in the house.
Yeah.
They want to be that, and so they want them out just for their own kind of selfish. They don't want them to be a part of the season. They want me to be a part of the season. I want to be the one that's remembered from Big Brother 22. So I think that they were a target last season because of that. And I think they'll kind of continue to be that. They'll have to fight their way through.
Yeah. So, Julie Chen Moonves, her sign-offs are a little odd this season.
Yeah.
So the last one for the first live eviction or the first move-in special was, and I don't know if this was on purpose or not, but it's, I guess, what Ellen DeGeneres always signs off as, like, be good to people or be nice
to each other.
Be good to each other. And then this time, what did she say?
She
meant
said
to write
the
it down.
golden rule.
Yeah.
And she said, like, remember the golden rule. Treat others the way you want to be. Is that what it is? Treat others the way you want to be treated?
Yeah, but she actually said, like, unto, or like, she said it like the real way.
Others as they,
yeah.
Whatever. It's interesting.
I don't know.
Part of people think that it's like divided online. I was like, was she like taking a jab at Ellen DeGeneres? And then I realized, like, oh, it could actually go either way. It could be in full support of Ellen DeGeneres too.
I have a feeling she was in support, just given her Moonves. Yes. I think she is she's very open about supporting people.
Is Ellen on CBS or is?
Oh, that's a good question.
No, I think she's NBC.
Yeah, I mean that doesn't change either way, but
but it would be,
yeah. And then this one, I don't know. As soon as she said it, I was like, wait, is she going nuts? Like, in her dress and just like the talking, I was like, oh, speaking of Julie Chen, I think that we need to do a Julie Chen screw up count.
Oh, that's good.
And you know what, listeners, don't get me wrong. I love this woman. I think she's the queen of Big Brother. But, you know, she doesn't wear nice outfits sometimes, and she screws up on live TV, and I love it. It's my favorite part of the show. I think we just need to do a count. My husband is like, oh, there's number 3. Yeah. So I thought about making it a drinking game and see how drunk you get.
She does her best. Production screws up a lot too, and that causes her to screw up.
Yep.
It's a weird game to produce, I think. I don't know anything about this, but I assume it would be a very hard game to produce because there's of the nature of nobody interacting with the people, nobody stopping and putting them there, and then the live aspect during the eviction episodes. I just think she's given a lot of hurdles, and she does her best, but her best isn't always the best that anyone could do.
Yeah.
If you put a different host in there, they might find a way around it, but they're obviously and hopefully never going to get rid of Julie Chen.
Oh God, I hope not. She's amazing. So, let's move on. Do you guys have any other notes or anything to talk about for these 3 episodes? It was a big week.
Yeah, the only thing that I just didn't see what people online, a lot of people online were saying that the veto challenge was unfair, and I did not see that. Did you see that?
I saw them talking about that on the feeds. That, like, they were saying Enzo's fell over and hit Keisha's. I don't know if they showed that or not. I don't think it matters. There was like a whole change.org thing. Like, it's just people calm down.
I just didn't see how it would even be possible because he was out already.
Right. And maybe they showed it out of, editing is always fun, but who knows? Also, I just don't care because I didn't really miss her. I don't miss her.
Yeah, I don't care. So. And okay. Well, I guess this will be what we talk about next. I'm sure. I have a feeling where we're going.
No, I was almost done. I thought we were going to just talk about the draft. What's up?
That's what I was talking about.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So Ellen, can you give us a draft update? How am I doing? That's all I really care about.
So the draft. So I'll start off by saying, Sam, you are winning by a landslide.
Oh,
an
man.
Absolute landslide, which shows that maybe knowing nothing about Big Brother is an advantage in some way because, Sam's winning by a landslide. You have 1 point for Cody winning HOH, 1 point for Enzo winning veto, and 1 point for Memphis winning HOH. So
wow.
You're at 3 points. Taryn, you have 1 point for Kaser winning a special challenge. He won the safety suite.
Okay.
And I at first gave Sam another point for Janelle, but then I realized she didn't win it. She just was given that. So no points for so Sam's at 3, Taryn's at 1, and I have a whopping 0 points. But hey, I'm really crossing my fingers that Tyler or maybe Davon wins veto or something. So
All right.
The floater's gone right off the bat, which makes it so much easier.
Yeah.
So that was something I wanted to say was, let's all just take a moment to pat ourselves on the back that we called it.
Oh, yeah.
She was not going to be someone that was going to bring us any points. So
yeah, she was definitely last picked. I mean, not picked, I guess.
Yeah, so Keisha is out.
Good job, us.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I don't know. Are you guys ready for another week of Big Brother?
Oh, I'm so ready.
It's going to ramp up from here. You can tell.
Yes.
People are starting to talk game a little bit more. Things are starting to move. I'm pretty excited about where this is going. All right.
It was a really wild first week for me. It's such a more intense show than I expected. The competitions are I don't want to get into this maybe now that we're at the end here, but the Simon Says Twinkle Twinkle Little Star game was so aggressive. You had to listen. You just had to they had to hear it for Janelle had to hear that for 16 minutes straight. Just
my God, I did not think about that.
Yeah, that game was incredibly hard. I saw that and I was like, I would have just sat down. I could not have done that game. I would have just enjoyed the suite because I'd be like, yeah, I'm not winning. But we're talking about the safety suite competition.
I love how almost dystopian and this feels like the bridge between where we are now and then the Hunger Games future.
Yes.
This is right the first step there.
Yeah, I was so excited. Every competition and episode, I was so excited, and I would turn to my husband and go, I'm so excited to hear what Sam has to say about this. I'm so glad Sam's seeing this comp because it was a really good, what I love about the Big Brother comps is how they're kind of like the old Nickelodeon comps sometimes where they're the big bananas and they get even more like that. They get messy and
they feel like they were designed by Floop from Spy Kids. Does he produce the show? Because he feels very involved.
Yes, great reference. Yeah, it'll be great. I'm excited to see the rest of the comps this season.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good one. I'm hoping that they bring back some old school comps that we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah.
There's one comp, I forget what it's called. I think it's called Pressure Chamber or something, and it's literally just a clear box. And there are, at this point, there would be 15 buttons. And you just can't stop pushing that button. Everybody's in the box and you just push the button. And if you let go of the button, then I think you get to open something and you either get a prize or something bad. And I think the last time they did it, you would open it and it would cause something to happen in the box to make it harder for everybody. So you would open a box and maybe it would start raining or something like that. That's not what actually happened, but things like that just to make it more and more difficult for the people who are continuing to hold the button. I know I'm not the only one here, but I would love to see that. Easy.
How long does that last? Because you could
they go forever. I think the last time they did it, somebody peed themselves because they didn't want to stop. It was intense. And I think that's probably why they don't do it anymore.
They have some multiple hour long comps, the wall comps, and it's
that's all the more reason to do it though. They really should.
They should. All right, guys. Well, I'm excited for next week. We're going to be here probably a week from today talking to you guys about the next eviction. So thank you, everyone, for joining us here at House Meeting Podcast. Ellen and I are going to bring you a live feed spoiler update sometime in the middle of next week after some of the comps have happened. And then we'll be back next Friday for our regular recap. I will see you two next Friday, and I'll see everybody else at the next House Meeting. Oh, crap. I didn't have the song ready. Every time. All right. Here we go. It's okay. This is what editing is for, you guys. Don't worry about it. Okay. Hold on. I screwed that up again. No, stop. Okay. Oh my God. I need to figure out how to do this better. Oh my God. All right, I'll see you guys all at the next House Meeting.
Wow.
That was oh, you think you're getting in the groove, and then that's when you screw everything up. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, good job, guys. Oh, I can stop recording. Wow. So we've recorded
Do I not get to see any of the loser hut, whatever it's called, unless I watch the live feeds?
The loser hut?
Oh, the have-not room.
Yeah,
they don't really show it much.
They just don't show it much, yeah.
Yeah, it's only if people are like talking in there. Like, we don't really see it much.
It was crazy. I should have mentioned this maybe I'll bring it up next week, but you can go like episodes without hearing a person talk.
Yeah.
Which is hard.
It's interesting.
It's hard to follow who everyone is, to be honest.
Well, and those are usually the people that go further because no one's talking about them.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely.
This is why I think David's doing well.
He has
not been on the show at all.
That is
He
true.
probably had like 10 minutes of airtime between his season and maybe probably less, probably like 5 minutes of airtime between his season and this season.
Yeah, he had that one moment in the bathroom with Kevin, and